All of you all that are gonna go home and write a biography on how wrong this is, you guys can kick rocks. What's up, fam? Candace Parker here. I'm gonna do a tier ranking of WNBA players.
Candace Parker just stirred the pot in a way that had Angel Reese's fans losing their minds. The WNBA icon labeled Reese as a C-tier player, and the reaction was instant and explosive. But Parker didn't flinch. She doubled down, backing up her claim with stats that make Reese's hype look overblown. While Reese racked up double-doubles, her team has been stumbling through losses at a shocking pace. And if you really dig into the numbers everyone's been celebrating, you'll see a truth that flips the whole narrative: those double-doubles don't actually translate to wins. Parker just called out one of the biggest myths in WNBA history. If you're on Candace Parker's side, drop a comment below, baby giraffe style. Let's go.
Said Angel Reese is not an impact player. I mean, she definitely has an impact on losing, but Angel Reese has absolutely no effect on winning. If you don't believe me, go ask Teresa Weatherspoon, or ask her current head coach Tyler Marsh, who will soon be joining Teresa in the food stamp line, hoping to get enough Ethiopian breadcrumbs to make it through the winter. Or ask.
Imagine this: one of the most respected voices in women's basketball drops a ranking that instantly throws the internet into chaos. Candace Parker, a 7-time All-Star and 2-time MVP, slotted Angel Reese in the C tier of her player rankings. Not A tier. Not B tier. C tier. Right alongside an injured Cameron Brink, signaling that Parker sees Reese more as a developing player than the superstar her fans insist she is.
To be able to have the ability to carry a team, be a 1 or 2 option. I think Angel Reese is fantastic at her role, which is offensive rebounding. She showed and demonstrated so much growth in that first year.
Parker didn't hold back on why Reese landed in the C tier. She pointed out that to rank higher, player has to have the ability to carry their team as a 1 or 2 option. While Parker acknowledged Reese's impressive offensive rebounding, she made it clear that Reese plays more as a role player than as someone who could lead a championship-caliber team. Meanwhile, Aya Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Brianna Stewart claimed the elite S tier, and Caitlin Clark secured a strong A tier spot, leaving Reese grouped with players still trying to prove themselves.
Couple Defensive Player of the Years, 2 championships. If there was something higher than S, I would definitely put her up there. But Nafisa Collier, she's up there with top tier with Asia. Just her ability to play on both sides of the ball, pump fake, she's gonna make you choose wrong. I know you guys are gonna say I'm biased because I'm putting all 4s at the S, but the 4s run the league. Don't ever forget that. Brianna Stewart, the versatility, reigning champion from last year. She's got 3 of them things. I don't think
the meltdown was immediate and spectacular. Reese's fans flooded social media, labeling Parker a hater and questioning her motives. They couldn't believe their double-double queen was ranked below players they considered less accomplished. The outrage escalated as fans demanded explanations for what they saw as outright disrespect. But Parker stayed calm and measured. Appearing on the Good Follow podcast, she said, "There's no hate on Angel Reese. I love her. I will never attack anybody's character. I will never attack who they are ever." Parker made it clear that her critique was strictly about basketball ability and team leadership, not personal attacks, and stressed that her comments came from a place of respect and professional evaluation.
An A level. I think in time she's gonna raise up to that S, but in order to put her at that level, she's gotta have a couple more years. So put Kelsey Plum at the A level. 2-time champ, now took on the challenge to be #1 option in LA. I would say KP is definitely in that tier. I would love to put Sabrina Ionescu in that A range. She got that elusive championship. She's one of the best shooters in the WNBA, if not the best shooter.
What makes Parker's criticism impossible to ignore? Her credentials speak for themselves. This isn't some random analyst throwing shade. Parker earned her reputation through years of elite performance and championship-level basketball IQ. When someone of her caliber speaks, people pay attention. Her ranking system also highlighted her priorities. Caitlin Clark's A-tier placement underscored that Parker values players who elevate their teammates and impact winning beyond individual stats. Clark's ability to transform the Fever's entire offensive system perfectly illustrates what Parker means by carrying a team.
Candace Parker, you've upset the Reese's Pieces and they're not happy about it. They're gonna be coming after you any second. Oh, they're already coming after you. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Candace Parker asked to put certain players in a tier list. You have the S tier, you have the A tier, you have the B tier, and you have the C tier. And where Candace Parker put Angel Reese on this list and her explanation about it, it has upset a large number of the Reese's Pieces.
Basketball analysts quickly came out of the woodwork to back Parker's candid assessment. They saw what casual fans often miss: there's a huge difference between racking up stats and genuinely contributing to team success. The question on everyone's mind was simple and brutal: what does a WNBA legend see in Angel Reese's game that even her biggest supporters overlook? Parker's ranking wasn't personal or arbitrary. It was grounded in cold, hard basketball fundamentals that distinguish role players from franchise cornerstones.
Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, the Chicago Sky got destroyed by the Stud Buds. Everybody watches the Stud Buds. Shout out to Courtney Williams and Tisha Heiderman, man. Listen, Stud Buds stood on business today. Nafisa Collier stood on business today. They destroyed
the Minnesota Lynx game changed everything. Angel Reese racked up 9 turnovers in a single matchup, and suddenly, the whispers from basketball insiders became impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a bad night, it was the moment that revealed the fundamental flaws in Reese's game that her double-double stats had been hiding all along.
Things. Blowing layups, getting her own rebounds. They've turned her into a point forward. She had 9 turnovers last night. I think her plus minus was minus 19. But all we keep hearing about, she now has 2 double-double streaks of more than 10 games or 10 games plus. She had one last year, now she has one this year. She's the first.
Let's be real about what happened in that meltdown. The Sky were actually competitive early, staying within striking distance of Minnesota. Then Reese's decision-making completely unraveled. She began forcing passes that weren't there, trying to thread needles when the simple play was right in front of her. Turnovers piled up as Reese's basketball IQ seemed to collapse under even the slightest pressure from the Lynx defense.
Isla said, "What color you want?" And she said, "Butter pecan!" Bang! She gets blocked by defenders who don't even bother jumping. Me bound. One more time. Bang! She almost had a triple-double. One more turnover and she would have had it. Bang! 9 turnovers is crazy, so is a no-look poop pass.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Opposing coaches started studying that game film like it was a blueprint. They realized they could exploit Reese, knowing she'd crack under defensive pressure and hand over possessions. Teams began running plays designed specifically to force the ball into her hands in uncomfortable situations, because they knew turnovers were likely. And this wasn't an isolated incident. The 9-turnover nightmare was just the clearest example of a troubling pattern that had haunted Reese all season. Game after game, she'd pile up impressive rebounding stats while simultaneously squandering possessions with careless mistakes. The Sky were losing winnable games because their so-called star couldn't protect the basketball.
The rock song goes, "Every day I'm shuffling, do 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 do." Bang! I know it's construction season and all, but who called in the bulldozer? Bang! And it was this play right here when 2K realized, yup, that's our cover athlete. 2K, more like 75K. Pay her more. Bang! Watching her play got me fiending football. Said, oh no, it's picked off again. Bang! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Settle down. You're going too fast. You're going too fast.
The most frustrating part? Chicago's coaching staff kept downplaying these glaring issues instead of confronting them head-on. They point to Reese's double-doubles and chalk up the turnovers as mere growing pains. Meanwhile, the losses kept piling up as opponents relentlessly exploited her fundamental weaknesses. That 9-turnover game became undeniable proof that Angel Reese's impressive stats don't tell the full story of her impact on winning basketball. You can grab all the offensive rebounds you want, but but if you're giving away possessions at an alarming rate, you're hurting your team's chances. The numbers might look good on paper, but the Sky still lost by 23 points. That raises a question no one seems willing to ask: what happens if Angel replays fewer minutes instead of more?
Reese is the double-double queen. They got the brakes beat off of them last night by the Minnesota Lynx. Angel Reese's double-double, I think 11 points, 11 rebounds, was...
The numbers are downright brutal for Angel Reese's reputation. When the Chicago Sky limit her to fewer than 30 minutes per game, their win percentage jumps dramatically compared to games where she logs extended minutes. This pattern completely contradicts the media narrative about Reese's value to the team. The actual data is clear: Chicago performs significantly better when her playing time is reduced. The team moves the ball more efficiently, other players find their rhythm, and the Sky start looking like a cohesive unit instead of a chaotic team built around one player's rebounding obsession.
Reese is not an impact player. She's not someone you can rely on to carry a team to a championship. The Chicago Bravado, they cannot rely on Angel Reese to secure off-season access to the Golden Toilet. Hell, she can't even get them to the playoffs. Angel Reese does not help your team win, and this is no longer just my opinion. Candace Parker feels the same way.
This trend completely shatters the narrative that Reese is essential to Chicago's success. The media loves to tout her double-doubles as proof of her value, but the win-loss record tells a very different story. The team doesn't get better when their so-called star plays more minutes, they get better when she plays less. In games where the Sky benched Reese or limited her minutes, the team rallied. Other players stepped up with confidence instead of constantly trying to adjust to Reese's chaotic style. Ball movement improved, possessions became more efficient, and Chicago actually looked competitive against quality opponents.
This is some sort of history we're seeing from Angel Reese with these double-doubles. It's not. It's a nice little stat that's pretty irrelevant, doesn't lead to victories, they lost by 20 some odd points last night to the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx pretty much controlled that entire game. Angel Reese was no factor. We need to quit celebrating. Oh, she got a double-double. Well, yeah, they kept her in the fourth quarter when they were down by 20, and she, got a bucket.
The uncomfortable truth becomes clear when you compare how the Sky perform with Reese on the court versus without her. This raises serious questions about Chicago's coaching priorities. Are they making decisions to maximize team success, or are they putting Reese's brand and individual stats ahead of winning? The evidence suggests it's the latter, even when it comes at a cost. Over the past year, Chicago has managed just one victory against a team above .500. One win. That's hardly a coincidence when the presence of your supposed star correlates with worse team performance. The Sky have suffered for 40-point blowouts in that span, and Reese played a prominent role in most of those disasters.
Yo, listen, y'all gotta stop with this point forward foolishness, man. Let's take a look, man. Hold on, man. Y'all be wildin', son. Bruh, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop, yo. Y'all gotta stop.
As one analyst bluntly stated, if Angel Reese is your best player, your team stinks. And the numbers perfectly back up that harsh assessment. Reese's double-doubles mean nothing if they come at the expense of team success. Stats that don't translate into wins are just empty numbers designed to fool casual observers. Perhaps the biggest deception in WNBA history has been convincing people that Reese's individual achievements matter, even as her team loses games they should easily win. The league now faces two very different paths, one built on genuine talent that leads to wins and championship potential, and another fueled by manufactured hype that collapses under playoff pressure. Angel Reese embodies everything wrong with the second path, while players like Caitlin Clark represent the authentic excellence the WNBA desperately needs.
As a superstar, I know she has given herself all of these doofus aliases. To her credit, Angel Reese has marketed herself as a big deal. Double-double Barbie, me-bound Barbie, Bayou Barbie, Bricklayer Barbie.
It doesn't matter! what your name is!
But marketing and promotion can only take you so far. Her PR team has done a brilliant job at polishing the turd, but there always comes a point when the polish melts off the turd and you will be expected to perform.
This entire saga reveals something far bigger than one player's limitations. It exposes how empty statistics can mislead casual observers who don't understand basketball fundamentals. Double-doubles sound impressive, until you realize they mean nothing if your team keeps losing games they should win. The league tried to push a narrative portraying Reese as a superstar, but that story simply doesn't match what happens on the court night after night. Let's be real, the league attempted to manufacture a rivalry between Clark and Reese to drive viewership and engagement. The problem? You can't fabricate greatness. One player elevates her teammates, while the other diminishes her team's chances of success. The uncomfortable truth is that manufactured hype always collapses when the games actually matter.
I have to accept the fact this girl is not Alyssa Thomas. Can y'all just stop playing games now? Can y'all just stop playing games now? This girl is not Alyssa Thomas. Y'all, fool on, y'all been turnover police. She had another 9 turnovers today. 9 turnovers to 3 assists. A minus 19.
Candace Parker's candid assessment opened the floodgates for analysts and fans alike to voice what they'd been thinking all along. Basketball insiders began admitting publicly that Reese's stats don't translate to winning basketball. What's fascinating about this shift is the stark contrast between teams built around players who elevate their teammates versus those relying on hollow stat lines that hurt winning. Indiana thrives on Clark's ability to make everyone better. Chicago, by contrast, revolves around Reese grabbing rebounds while turning the ball over at critical moments. The results speak for themselves. Fans are now equipped to see through empty numbers and recognize true, game-changing impact. 9 turnovers in a single game reveal more about a player's ability than 30 double-doubles ever could. Fans can tell the difference between meaningless stats and meaningful contributions that actually lead to victories. The future of women's basketball looks bright when led by players who put winning above personal accolades, players who lift their teammates, perform under pressure, and focus on cutting down nets instead of padding their box scores. The truth has finally won. And it's about time.
Elite pretenders. They're brilliant at convincing people to buy.
The Indiana Fever's future looks absolutely incredible. While Chicago struggles with their ongoing Angel Reese dilemma, Clark's rookie season has transformed league-wide popularity and viewership in ways nobody predicted. The WNBA All-Star Game drew around 2 million viewers, largely because Clark served as team captain, proving her star power even when she wasn't on the court. The excitement building around Clark, Hull, Boston, and Mitchell as a championship-caliber core for 2025 is completely justified. This group has the chemistry and talent to make serious playoff runs. Meanwhile, Chicago faces growing doubts about whether they can ever succeed with Reese as their centerpiece. Basketball fans are now recognizing genuine, game-changing talent. If you agree with Candace Parker, comment below, Baby Giraffe. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you next time.